The new Giants coach, and Mike Tomlin is no longer the Steelers coach. So much to talk about on this episode of the Purple Rain podcast. Welcome back. Happy Thursday, happy Friday, each of those of you watching live on the Purple Rain podcast. And if you are part of the replay gang, let us know down below. So much to talk about today. Episode 370 of the Purple Rain podcast. The DJ Fluker episode, the Roger Rosengart episode, Kevin Zeitler episode of the Purple Rain podcast. And like I said, we have a lot to talk about. You can follow us on Instagram here at the Purple Rain Podcast. This guy right here on Instagram or on X at Sutton Def. Me, Instagram simply as10.prod, X simply as10. And yeah, obviously some very big news coming out of the NFL about midnight Eastern Standard Time, I want to say. I woke up to that news. Definitely, expected it, but didn't expect it to be so soon. But before that, Sutton, how are we feeling? How is the offseason treating us so far?
I would say the offseason is treating us just fine. As soon as Tyler Loop missed that kick, of course, there was probably about, I'd say, almost 48 hours of just like doom and gloom. But ever since then, it's been feeling like we're on vacation. We're in Cancun, and we're actually enjoying ourselves, right? For a change, right? Normally, 2 weeks after the Ravens got booted out of the playoffs or, got eliminated in some capacity, I'm still kind of torn up about it, but I think that the offseason's been treating us very well. Of course, we got a lot to talk about, a jam-packed episode tonight on this episode of PRP. But before we get into anything else, I cannot stress enough. Guys, please like the video, okay? Subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, salute to you. If you're part of the hashtag replay gang, salute to you as well. Please, please, please leave your comments, questions, concerns, whatever you got down below in the comment section. But anyways, look, like you said, some big news dropped this morning, Alex, and I think it's time for us to go ahead and get into it. I see the Rain Gang is ready to get into it. What's going on, Zeke? What's up, RJ? We got a couple members in the chat. We got Void, one of our Purple Rain Gang members, says Giants are listening to the media narratives. SMH, we're going to get into that. Go, man. What's up, man? Tila's in the house. Tila, also another one of our members here and a moderator, mind you. Asmodeus is in the building. Asmodeus is still asking for these phone lines, man. I had the phone lines open the other day. You didn't call in. You were in the chat. What happened, Asmodeus? Come on, Asmodeus. D-Wiz says, your basso flock fan. What's going on, D-Wiz? Shout out to you. Lisa, I don't think we've seen Lisa in a little bit. Maybe I'm just tripping. But Lisa says, hey, Sutton Def and Alex, how weird is it to see John as the Giants head coach? Well, listen, we're here to get into that. We're going to get into that in a second. It's very weird. It's very, very weird. Chike says, yes, my guys are back. Congratulations to John Harbaugh landing with the Giants. Clint Kubiak is the favorite to land the Atlanta Falcons job. Now, of course, this could change, but I want him as a Raven. Yeah, a lot of people are pulling for Clint Kubiak. I know Alex is one of them as well, right?
I am. He's definitely in my top two guys, and if you're gonna pick between the Falcons and the Ravens, I just have a hard time, finding why the Falcons. I mean, obviously Drake London is a huge, guy I would love to coach, but quarterback wise, there's a lot of question marks. Obviously, Michael Penix is the guy there, but he's shown possibly he can't stay healthy for a full season. Gets banged up. Kirk Cousins is a big question mark there, so that job definitely is going to have some question marks around it. But I love Clint Kubiak here in Baltimore, and we'll get into that a little bit later in the show.
We will. Tila corrected me in the chat here. Says, I just have to say it's DeWiz, not D-Wiz. Okay, I got you. Thanks for letting me know. I hate to mispronounce anybody's name here on the show. I know I say you guys' names a lot. So if I am mispronouncing your name, please do not hesitate to let me know. But okay. So like we said, guys, big news came out of the NFL this morning. The Giants hired John Harbaugh, the Ravens' ex-head coach, to be their new head coach. A 5-year deal is reported to be worth close to 100 M's, right? So John Harbaugh is what, 64 years old right now or something like that, or is he 65? One of the two. He's going to be coaching close to 70, if everything goes smoothly, right? If he can raise the floor of this Giants team and get them to be where I know that they can with him as head coach, then he's probably going to be around for that entire 5 years and retire around 70 years old. So, Alex, when you got this news, I mean, we kind of predicted it last week on the show, right? But when you got this news, what was your knee jerk reaction? Are you happy for Harbaugh? Are you kind of like kick rocks? How are you feeling about all this?
I'm low key kick rocks. You got 100 mil for underachieving. You're the Doc Rivers of the NFL. You're living off of one championship. So congrats. And I can see the Adam Schefter tweet in 2 years. 2 years into the $100 million contract, the Giants and head coach John Harbaugh part ways. That New York press is not like the Baltimore press. I wish him the best, but some of the stuff he said in our press won't slide over there. And they have not had a coach, I think, last for more than 2 years in a while, I think in over a decade. Um, so I'm glad he's getting his money, but may have bit off more than he can chew. But I wouldn't turn down 100 mil. I mean, for 5 years. But that offense too as well. Two guys coming off of season long I words, and then your quarterback does not know how to slide. I hope you can teach him. So I do have a little bit of I saw somebody bring up with the whole Anthony Weaver thing. Kind of annoys me because we had a chance to have Weaver be our DC in 23 when Mike McDonald left, but you went with the rookie, with the unexperienced guy in Zach Orr. So you knew you were wrong, I guess, and you're picking him over Orr, but it felt like Weaver or Denard Wilson was always a pick over Zach Orr then, but can't cry over spilt milk. Best of luck to him. He can make the money and yeah, live a happy life afterwards. Live a happy life
Yeah.
now, to be honest.
Oh, for sure, for sure. By the way, 93 people watching live right now. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. This is the Purple Rain podcast. What do you think about the nucleus of young talent that he has on that roster? Obviously, Jackson Dart, Cam Scattaboo, Malik Neighbors, who have all been banged up at certain points this season. Do you think that he can kind of like coach them up and kind of bring them to a level of maturity to where these guys can not only just be talented guys on the field, but like consistent, reliable, game changing players? What do you think?
I mean, we're talking about offense. I'm talking about defensively first off. I look at Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau. That right there is a core defensively that I would love to have at the Ravens, and I think you have to build around those guys. Offensively, though, there is, untapped potential. I like Theo Johnson as well, tight end wise. Hell, Wandale Robinson put up, I think, top 10 receiving yards or top 10. He was one of the top 10 in the
They're
in receiving
sneaky,
categories.
sneaky.
Yeah, I had him in my one fantasy league. I was like, wow, like I had this guy on the bench for a couple of weeks because I was losing, but he was put up numbers. They have the talent. I know Munkin's going there as well. It's just, can they keep these younger guys heads level? Cam Scatterbo is kind of a larger than life personality. Low key might not gel. We've seen that here with the Ravens. If you're not the guy who you want, you'll hit the doghouse. And same with Jackson
Yeah.
Dart. He was on the sideline in Ole Miss. They called him, saying Stefanski or Harbaugh. Harbaugh doesn't like stuff getting out of the locker room. We used to say the castle. So whatever the Giants version of that is, he'll want those guys to stay more to themselves and kind of talk in riddles to the media. So that's first and foremost. But uh, I guess best of luck to him. But there's guys you can build around. They're still to me behind the Eagles in that division and behind the Cowboys. Commanders, still jury's out. Jaden Daniels is coming back. I want to see them make a couple moves in the offseason. But right now, I still think they're the fourth place team in the NFC East, but that division is so weird it could change in a heartbeat.
It could. It could. Before we move any further, we do have a first super chat donation of this episode 370 of PRP. This one's coming from Chike. Appreciate you, Chike, making it rain, dropping the 20 piece in the chat, pulling up from downtown. We appreciate that. Absolutely making it rain on the Purple Rain podcast here. Chike says, Alex, Sutton said something yesterday that changed my mind about who we bring in as a head coach. If we had a defensive-minded head coach and Derrick Henry gets a monster first down and Brian Flores is our coach, just saying. So, yeah, I was saying something yesterday how, a defensive-minded head coach would flourish even more with the likes of Derrick Henry coming out of the backfield, right? Because it would allow his defense to get rest. They don't have to be on the field all the time if Derrick Henry is sustaining drives, right? And when they do get on the field, they can really wreak havoc. What do you think about that, Alex?
I definitely agree. And you bring up Brian Flores. Robert Salah has shot up on my list. I cannot lie. Um,
Okay.
I think to
Well,
me, I was
I'm
talking
about to
about
say,
it with
save your
yeah.
coach stuff. But we're gonna
I,
get to
I
that. But
will,
yeah, go ahead.
I will. But definitely, if I'm going to be completely honest, I think Brian Flores is a Steeler. I think
Oh man, don't do that to me, Alex. Come on,
I'm
Alex.
sorry. He has familiarity there. He's already was with the Steelers, and I think they're gonna really shoot on him. And thing with the Steelers, they love just like that storybook. You know, the Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin little glance they gave a couple years ago, and then they're together last year. But Mike Tomlin came from the Vikings. Brian Flores comes from the Vikings. It's just to me, it's just too Disney freaking storyline that they can't say no to it. But I think having a guy like that with Derrick Henry would be an amazing tandem. Um, hope it's with us and not with the Steelers though.
Yeah, I mean, a Brian Flores hire for the Steelers is that's continuity defined for them, right? I mean, you get a defensive minded, no nonsense black head coach, right? I mean, you're going. It's literally kind of like a lateral move, to be honest with you, if you're thinking about it that way. But no, hopefully, I'm hoping the Ravens can get him before the Steelers do. But Robert Salah is another name that I'm thinking about too. Now that you brought it up, we'll bring it. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that later. We'll talk about that later. But thank you so much, Chike, for your super chat donation. Truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. Making it rain there. But back to these Giants, right? I want to ask you
Mm,
a question,
mm.
Alex, as we have over 100 people watching live. Shout out to you guys. Make sure you guys like the video. And I want you guys to answer this question in the chat. Truthfully, with John Harbaugh at head coach, let's just assume the Giants are fully healthy all year. Do you have the Giants going over 8.5 or under 8.5 wins?
Under 8-9. That's a great line. I have 8-9. Fully
Mm.
healthy 8-9. I
So
think.
they won 4 games this year.
Let me pull up their schedule real quick. Next, they
Yeah,
play
yeah,
the NFC West next year, the best division in the NFL.
yeah. I mean, let's hear their schedule. I definitely would love to hear that.
Let's see. So obviously it's not out, but here are the
Their
future
opponents, yeah.
opponents. Yep, they'll play. So home, obviously Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Browns, Saints, Titans, Jags, Cardinals, Niners, and then
Okay.
obviously the same three away. Then Lions, Texans, Colts, Rams, Seahawks.
Lions, Texans, Rams, Seahawks are their hardest games all year. I mean, outside of their division, which are all going to be toss ups to me,
Niners at
they
home,
could
Jags at
nine.
home.
Oh yeah, they can beat the Jags, bro. I mean, the Niners might be a different story, but the Jags are there to be had. I mean, you saw it against the Bills, albeit a playoff game, right? Trevor Lawrence has never really been known to make playoff runs like that, but I think that John Harbaugh can get this team, especially if Jackson Dart goes to the next level, and if Cam Skadaboo can prove me wrong. Because honestly, Alex, I think he's a little bit overrated. I mean, I would
Oh
love
yeah.
to know his yards per carry on the year. I don't think it was really anything to really gush over, right? I mean, a lot of his runs were just like kind of like really hard runs, you know what I mean? Like hard nosed runs, just trying to run through guys, leading with his helmet. It made him like a sensation. He was a trendy player, but in terms of actually how skillful the dude is, mm, yet to be seen to me. Malik Neighbors is the real deal, though.
Mhm.
He's the real deal. So if Jackson Dart and Malik Neighbors can get a good connection going, and maybe they even throw in a little running back by committee, they draft a guy, maybe I don't know. I could see the Giants, especially with that schedule, I think that they can get to 10 wins, man. I'm gonna go over 8.5 wins.
So you have them get more wins than the Ravens had this past year.
I do, and it's gonna be unfortunate. It's gonna be very, very unfortunate, and we're gonna, you know, I don't know about you, Alex. I'm a low key be a little bit jealous. I'm gonna be a little bit jealous, right? And I know you said kick rocks hardball. That's how you're feeling about it. I get it, but I read an article earlier today, and Alex, if you could just humor me for a minute here. I read an article from the New York Post, right? So they've got the inside scoop on how this Harbaugh deal really got done. And I want to read this article to you guys. And you don't have to agree with me on this because I've said it from the very get go when Harbaugh got fired. I said, this is a little bit bittersweet for me, right? Like, I didn't want things to end how it ended. right? I wanted Harbaugh to succeed, and I want him to succeed at his next destination. And you remember, Alex, how we talked about how the Ravens were kind of love bombing us, right?
Mhm.
And then the Band-Aid finally got ripped off, and now we're separated from John Harbaugh. Listen to this article from the New York Post. It starts with the red wine cellar, where John Harbaugh was wined and dined Wednesday night with off-the-menu items by co-owner Chris Mara, general manager Joe Sheen, and their confidants, is steeped in Giants tradition. Decades earlier, just to set the scene for you, long before Ilya took over the location and refurbished the downstairs space, it was the dungeon at Park and Orchard where Bill Parcells used to host pre-draft meetings for the Giants. It opened in 2017. It's called the Elia Mediterranean Restaurant. It's become the Giants' go-to spot for high-profile courtships. But the one that led to John Harbaugh agreeing to become head coach of the Giants was different before the door opened at 5 p.m. When Joe walked in, you knew the deal was going to go down. Elia owner Tim Soloris told the Post. It was the first time that they called me to tell me the timing. They told me Coach had to be on a flight at 7:30. But before Coach left, he said, I loved it. I'll be back. Coach Harbaugh's words. Seated at a custom-designed wooden table for up to 18 guests, Harbaugh was presented with 3 exclusive options, 1 steak, 1 fish, and 1 chicken, prepared just for the occasion. Coach veered to Chris Mara to order first, and Chris goes, you're the honorary guy. You order first. And so, Laura, we had pan-roasted Alaskan halibut filet over spinach, asparagus, mushrooms, crab meat, and yellow romesco sauce. Once he ordered that, Chris said, I'll have what Coach is having. Let's continue. And they had all the traditional apps. The grilled octopus, the eggplant, and zucchini chips, the oriatiki salad, the tuna tartare, the saganaki, and the fried calamari that we are known for. This is the restaurant owner. Throw a couple of 16-ounce ribeye steaks on the bill for Joe Sheen and special assistant to the general manager, Jesse Armstead, and we were good to go. And to wash it all down, despite being surrounded by about 2,500 bottles of red wine lining the wall and higher-end options behind a divider, the Giants brass doesn't usually drink at these interviews. So, Soloro sensed that something was up when the waiter came upstairs with a special request to open a rare bottle of Silver Oak, perhaps the first private indication that Harbaugh was ready to cancel his scheduled interviews with the Titans and the Falcons. Okay, look, I'm going to take a pause here. Does this not sound like the craziest courtship you've ever heard in your life? It sounds like they are trying to get Harbaugh in bed, right? And it's like, to me, I'm like, again, you say kick rocks Harbaugh, and a part of me feels the same. But a part of me is like, motherfucker, that's my ex we're talking about. What are you doing? Like, what? It hasn't even been a week. It hasn't even been a week. Bro, when I read this article, I was taken aback at all the things that they did. Because they literally were talking to John Harbaugh like he was some woman, right, that they wanted to court, wine and dine, take home for the night, whatever. Bro. Oh, my gosh. And this makes it worse. The representative from the Giants who was there said, hey, the coach wants a glass of wine to celebrate. I joked with them, as a fan, I want to know, and I'm sure everybody in this room wants to know, are you ready to sign? I winked at him, and he looked at me. I told him and Mr. Mara, if you're not ready, we can go in the back and discuss it. What?
No.
Come on,
This isn't
bro.
for real. This isn't for real.
No, it's real. It's from the New York Post. It's the New York Post.
Oh, my.
This can't, bro. I'm telling you, when I read this, I was like, there's no way that they did all of that for John Harbaugh. And again, it made me feel just a certain type of way. All the love bombing we just went through just a couple of weeks ago, just for you to be getting wined and dined in the Big Apple of all places, right? And now the Giants hire him. Obviously, Isn't that ridiculous, man? Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I didn't know all that went down. Nonetheless, congratulations to Coach Harbaugh, man. I wish him absolutely nothing but the best. But that level of courtship is absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. Look at the chat. Let's look at the chat. Ferris says, "Is this a negotiation or a 50 Shades of Grey novel?" This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, man. I don't understand it. It's Modius with the super chat donation. Oh my god. With the $2 donation, as Modius says, New York gave Harb's head in the back in order to sign. I mean, with all of that, after all of that, right? Karl Anthony Towns' voice, like you would assume something went down.
New York.
Maddie Boom. Maddie Boom says, went in the kitchen, got stuck in the dishwasher.
Oh
man, something. Spin cycle. That is hilarious.
See,
that is hilarious.
I had no idea about this, so hearing this is just even better. It's that meme, you can tell when somebody has their first baddie. It's always like that joke, like you see a celebrity who just got famous out of nowhere, and they're spoiling their girlfriend. Like that's the Giants haven't had that. All right, and I pulled this up. This is their past couple of head coaches: Mike Kafka, Brian Dable, Joe Judge, Pat Shermer, Ben McAdoo. So it's been a while since they've had a head coach that had a good resume, had some success, and they didn't know how to act. So they went all out on the first date. They got the flowers, they got the wine, they got it all. Like for real. How are you gonna match that? Date 2.
I don't know. Maybe the Giants are love bombing John. And we could see halfway through the season if the team is in turmoil. Certain guys take a step forward, whatever, what have you. Maybe, I don't know, but the way that went down, man, I just cannot get over that. And Chef Spicy Rice says they wanted him that bad. It's like, yeah, I guess so. But hey, look, that's our ex though. Oh my gosh. Let me see here who's in the chat. Let me see. Sip to Tally Films to sign me up. Head in 100 mil. Head in 100 mil. Sign me up. I feel it, Coach. I feel it, Coach.
I don't even know what to say after that, man. That is. I have to go shower again. I feel nasty. I feel disgusting.
Yeah, me too, right? Like, come on. Harbs. You let him bro. This man Harbs gave it up on the first night. Crazy work. Crazy work. But enough about Harbs, though. Enough about Harbs. Let's go ahead and move on from Harbs. There was also another famous head coach, a familiar head coach that stepped down earlier this week. As we all know, the Steelers got obliterated on Sunday Night Football by the Texans. Really, in that fourth quarter is when it went down. But Mike Tomlin stepped down, and that was a huge bomb of news that dropped the other day. Alex, how did you react to it? And what are your thoughts on it?
I definitely did not expect it to happen. Now, mind you, I went to bed on Monday night. The score was 7-6. Texans were winning. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to watch this. I'm like, it's going to be another typical Steelers devil magic. They're going to come out and win 13-10. I was wrong. I woke up about 2 a.m. I'm like, let me check it, before I go back to sleep. 30-6. I was like, I don't know what I missed. I saw Stroud throw 1 touchdown. So I'm like, I'll watch the highlights in the morning. I don't even know how they got 30 points with Stroud throwing 1 touchdown. Woke up, watched the highlights. Hat tip to the Texans defense. That's a defense. But I did not expect this Tomlin to step down. I thought he was going to do 1 more year. Him and Rodgers run it back. They just spent all this money. You go out and get a guy like DK Metcalf. You go and trade for Jalen Ramsey, Jonnu Smith. And for it to end just like that. Harbaugh and Tomlin the same year. It's fitting they went out together. The rivalry has turned a new page. A new chapter will be written. Thank you, I guess, for the great matchups, memories, but I will not miss the blowing the kisses to us after you just somehow beat us again in some crazy fashion. But definitely caught me off guard, man. I wasn't expecting it. And during the Bisciotti presser, by the way.
Yeah. Give me your top maybe 2 or 3 most memorable Mike Tomlin versus John Harbaugh moments.
Right? Stepping on the field. Has to be.
Yes, that was gonna be mine.
Has to be. It's that. It has to be that. That and only that. He got on the field. Trip Jacoby Jones.
And rest in peace, Jacoby Jones. I mean, he deserved that touchdown right there, man. He was in stride. And Mike Tomlin acted like he didn't know where he was on the field, right? Did they end up finding him for that?
I think he did get fined.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
hefty amount.
Because come on now. Come on. But yeah, yeah. I that would probably be my top one as well. All the other times with Harbaugh, I could just remember the Harb's face when we were like just giving up a lead. But yeah, yeah, real painful. Now that I'm thinking back on it so many times. Somebody you can make like a real highlight reel tape of just John Harbaugh making the Harb's face and like not looking like he knows what to do at all. You
Mm,
know, but definitely the Mike Tomlin stepping on the field. That's number one for me. Number one.
yeah.
But wish Mike Tomlin the best and wherever he goes next. I don't know where he would go. I mean, because he's obviously the most attractive head coaching candidate on the market right now,
Mm.
and the Ravens are the most attractive head coaching job opening right now. But obviously, Tomlin can't go and take up that mantle, with the Ravens. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes, who picks him up. Any predictions on where he might land, possibly?
You have to trade for him. So I can see a team like Miami doing it for sure. They give me that vibe.
Mm.
Vegas always. I think Vegas you can never expect the unexpected without Davis. Um, I mean I like their offense. I like Brock Bowers, I like Ashton Genty. How Trey Tucker had a good year. I'm not sure what they're gonna do in the draft, but they're just so far away in that division when you have the Chiefs, Chargers, and now the Broncos, the one seed. I just don't think you're gonna win in 1 year there. Same with
You
the
know, has
Dolphins.
has it been confirmed that Tomlin wants to come back and coach immediately?
I saw he wants to be with family.
Mm. Well, see, that's my thing. If I think that it would be smart for him if he took a year off
Mm-hmm.
and waited and watched the Philadelphia Eagles job, right? Because
Mm,
I feel like Sirianni is really on his last leg. I know they just won a Super Bowl last year, but the fashion that they got eliminated this year against a handicapped 49ers team that has zero pass rush, I think that there's some questions. And I think that it could all fall apart. If they have another season, I'm gonna say it right now. I'm predicting the Eagles to take a huge step back next year, and potentially even miss the playoffs. Right? I feel like their division is going to get tougher. I think the Commanders take a step forward. I think that the Cowboys are going to be steady, and I think the Giants take a step forward. Again, I think they get 10 wins on the season. So, for the Eagles, if I was Mike Tomlin, I would wait and see what happens with that job because the next hiring cycle might be a little bit more attractive to Mike Tomlin than the current one. Because you talk about Vegas, you talk about the Dolphins, the Vegas job. It's like, okay, do we really think that Mendoza is going to be the guy? Right? Tomlin isn't really necessarily known to bring these young quarterbacks in and groom them to be, franchise guys, right? He's just like, hey, are you good or not? Because I got this defense to worry about over here, you know? So I don't know if any of the jobs would seem very attractive to him to where he doesn't want to stay home with family or want to hop in the broadcast booth for at least a year. But I don't know. Those are my thoughts. I think he should wait for the Eagles.
you mentioned the Eagles. I'm going to think of another one. What if the Cowboys have another bad year? Jerry's going all out. He wants to see one more Super Bowl before he
Yeah,
turns
but I
the
don't think
page.
Tomlin wants to be a part of that clown show though. You know what I mean? Like at least Philly is like very well run, very buttoned up, very professional. They have one of the best GMs in the league. With the Cowboys, it's like you're dealing directly with Jerry Jones, right? When it comes to the drafting of the players, when it comes to ownership of the team, how everything's done. I don't think Tomlin necessarily wants that headache, right?
Didn't they interview Dion when they were looking for a head coach last year? I want to say before they got Schottenheimer. I want to say his
I
name came
can't
up.
quite remember. I don't think so. I feel like that would have been much bigger news, right? And I feel like they would have went out of their way to hire him. They would have given him all the benefits of the doubt, right?
Mm.
Deion Sanders, you just know how many eyes that would bring to Dallas Cowboys games on top of
Along with
all the eyes that are, exactly, yeah. So
he'd have
I
the
don't know.
cowboy hat on while coaching. I'm low key for that if it doesn't work out, Brian Schottenheimer, just for the media aspect. But the Eagles is a really good shout. I could definitely see that happening. I think I agree with you too with the Sirianni stuff. If they miss the playoffs, he'll be out. Already fired the offensive coordinators. Now it's time to really step it up. Um,
Yeah.
Like, imagine if the Ravens, when we fired Greg Roman and then we missed the playoffs with the year after. I think Harbaugh would have had a really hot seat because you already, you got rid of your OC and you somehow regress. Somebody said the Packers could see it.
Yeah,
Another
I could see
historic
that too.
franchise. How fitting goes to the team that beat him in the Super Bowl.
Mm. Yeah, because Tomlin only has one, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
beat the
he got one.
Cardinals.
Big Ben has two because he won one with Cower, right?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But again, best of luck to Mike Tomlin, wherever he lands. Again, we say best of luck to Coach Harbaugh in New York. Hope he does well. He's far away from us in the NFC. We don't play the Giants this year, so I hope they do get over 8.5 wins. I really do. But all right, let's go ahead and transition here
Mm.
into some news that dropped this week. I don't know if you saw this presser. This presser with Steve
And
Bisciotti and Eric DeCosta. It was jam packed. Oh my god, bro! It was loaded with so much information. I took a lot from it. I streamed about it at length yesterday and the day before. But the Rain Gang has not gotten your opinion on it,
yeah,
Alex. So when you watch this hour long almost interview between the Ravens media, Steve Bisciotti, and EDC, what were your biggest takeaways from it?
I see why the Ravens PR pride doesn't want Steve Bisciotti to be speaking a whole lot because he was just straight to it. I think blunt, honest, and a couple of times, man, I saw Mr. DeCosta's face get a little red over next to him. Like he knows he's
Yeah,
fighting for his job now. That's kind of
yeah.
one of the main takeaways I took. He Loki said, because of this guy's job, our head coach is gone. But I was glad he called out
Mm,
the O line, the D line, stuff like that. I was glad he called out, how the coaching didn't coach our guys in those positions right. And, George Warhop, kick rocks, enjoy wherever you go next. Just hope it's not here. But that's kind of one of my big ones. Obviously, the whole Lamar thing as well. Him saying, the void years. If he doesn't get him an extension, we'll throw void years on. So I know he's committed to him as a quarterback. He wants to get that. And he even told us how he's going to lay the contract out, the extension, the same one we had before, just at bump the money up, which was something I took pretty strongly. So it was jam packed information. You could probably make a whole hour and a half long video if you dissect every segment of what they talked about. And then obviously the whole Tyler Loop thing, if he makes a kick, how long does Harbaugh have? One more week. I don't think he understands what he did with that, but that right there was mob boss vibes. That was,
yeah,
I mean, that's, like I said, I see why he hasn't talked in so many years because you just gave us
yeah.
kind of everything we've been asking for and waiting for.
Yeah, and like I've said all week, it was definitely a breath of fresh air just hearing him just be so truthful, so honest. You know what I mean? Like not it wasn't like anything like a regular Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh press conference, right? Where they don't give us anything. They play their cards super close to the chest. And like that's just what we get. Straight up media answers. But no, with Steve Bisciotti, he gave us the real deal. And I was appreciative of that. I really was. It's good to hear that coming from the owner, especially somebody who doesn't talk all that much. It felt like what I would say if I was the owner of the Ravens and I hadn't spoken for a while. Like I would tell the truth about how I feel about this team. Like you said, the offensive line, it was not up to snuff. The coaching was not up to par. Right? Like these are things that need to be fixed. And I'm glad that Eric DeCosta was sitting right next to him, hearing these things. Because like I said yesterday, I think on the Ravens roundup, Steve Bisciotti was forward facing and talking to the media, but he was indirectly talking to Eric DeCosta for a lot of that, and that was big for me. What I do want to ask you is about the Lamar Jackson contract thing,
Mm-hmm.
that Steve Bisciotti mentioned. Do you think, or how likely do you think it is that Lamar Jackson gets a deal done with the Ravens easily this time, way easier than how it was in 2023? Because I personally think, based on history, Lamar Jackson's going to play hardball. He's coming back to the negotiation table now with even more leverage than before, more accolades, more accomplishments, more I words, right? He's been
Yeah.
banged up a little bit more. I think he's going to ask for more guaranteed money. I don't think he wants to just scratch out the number that's on his current contract and bump it up a few million. I don't think that. What do you think?
I think they'll I think they'll get him before free agency starts. I think now more than ever, it's more important to have that money open to sign who your new coach wants. I think him having a say in the coach as well, they'll use to try to say who do you want, and they'll kind of mix it into the negotiations, and I think it gets done probably before the first week of March. I want to say, because I think free agency opens the second week, so they want to have at least a little bit of time to go into the free agency, have a plan, have some guys that they want to get to or sign, or maybe just pitch the Ravens to. But I think they'll get it done before they did. I mean, last time they did it on the draft day is when it got done, but I think it's before. I think they know kind of what he's looking for, and even with the guarantees, you got what to me 2 MVP seasons out of him this past year. Even with him down, it's not his fault that our defense was damn near last in the league. But you got to get it done earlier, and yeah, he does deserve it. I mean, that's 2 MVPs compared to the 1 MVP he had on his rookie year, and surprise, surprise, when you surround him with better skill players and more talented players, he's a better player. 41-4, like no shit. So I think it gets done. I think our offense will be even better. I know it's crazy to sound, but I think it happens.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Jordan. Appreciate you for coming through. Says I made it live. Hashtag flock. Good evening. Shout out to the Rain Gang, the replay gang as well. If you're watching this after the fact, please make sure you leave a like on this video. Or if you're watching live, please leave a like. Helps us out a ton. How many likes are we at, Alex? Can you tell? Do you know?
Heck yeah, I can tell. Let's pull it up. What do you think we're at?
Sweet.
What's the goal?
I'm gonna say we're at. I think it's kind of low right now. I'm gonna say 20 likes.
YouTube took it away. You can't see.
Let's see.
It's crazy.
I know, right? Well, hopefully, keep liking it. Keep liking it, because after the video, we're gonna be able to see. We're gonna be able to know how much we got. And like you used to say, the kids ain't eating. Quite simple as that. If we don't hit our like goal, right? I'll try to see if we can finagle getting the likes back on the screen. But anyways, moving on. About the Steve Bisciotti presser, another thing that I wanted to bring to your attention, Alex, was the comments that Steve Bisciotti made about who would be the next ideal head coach, quality wise, like characteristic wise, right? And the one thing that he mentioned, he said that he went out of his way to say, we're not going to disqualify former head coaches who were some of the hottest guys in their coaching cycle in the last 5 years, who they took a tough job, didn't compete because there was lack of talent on the roster, no quarterback. We're not going to disqualify those guys. As a matter of fact, we're going to give those guys the benefit of the doubt. What that told me is this. Steve Bisciotti wants a guy with head coaching experience, preferably. It doesn't mean that he won't hire a coordinator, but I think that he prefers somebody who has prior head coaching experience, which narrows the list of guys. Even the guys that they've already interviewed, right? Because they got to do their due diligence. They're casting a very wide net. But Alex, what did you think about Steve Bisciotti saying that? And does that kind of shift you to one specific coach or another, and then brings them up your list?
He mentioned, those, and he looked at the quarterbacks on of those teams. I thought, obviously, Mike McDaniel, right off the bat. But to me, I'm still a little iffy on as a head coach. All for OC, just like what you heard in Miami, how it kind of lost the locker room. That worries me. Guys like Brian Flores, we brought up. Guys like Robert Salah. Guys like how Jim Schwartz, who I looked up his record as a head coach. He went 29-51 as head coach. Guys like that. Low-key can rule out. I mean, if you were going to use what he said, you could rule out a guy like a Clint Kubiak, but I don't think that's true at all. I think he's still going to be in the running. But it definitely was eye-opening, and hearing the way he talked about it, you think we're going to go after this, get this proven guy that has a winning record, but no. So it's kind of now comes down to the second interviews. I'm looking forward to seeing who we interview and bring into Owings Mills. I can definitely rule some guys out now. I'd say I think Matt Nagy can rule out. I think Jesse Minter, I don't think he'll get a second interview, as crazy as it sounds. As Modi has dropped a 10-piece here, so my prediction. Flores to Pitt, Tomlin connection. Clint to ATL, be John Minter, head coach / Mike OC. Salah / Clay, or Vance Joe / Davis will be ours. Also be Trey Hendrickson and draft interior defensive line and offensive line. Whew, that is a lot.
Yeah. So you're saying for Minter to us for head coach, Mike. Wait, who? Wait,
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel, OC. Okay, we have interviewed him. I was going to say LaFleur for a second, but we haven't interviewed him for some reason. Sala and Clay. Hmm. I'm like Sala is growing on me, man. He's really growing on me.
He's growing on me a lot, and I just watched Bobby Stream, who had the 149ers beat writer who went viral on Twitter for just being straight honest about how he felt about the Niners. I forget his name. Grant Cohen had Grant Cohen on. He talked about Robert Saleh. He talked about how last year the Niners went 6-11, and the only player really hurt was Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy was healthy. Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Um, this year though, make the playoffs. There's a difference. Robert Saleh's there. Those guys are playing for him, and he mentioned the type of coordinators he can bring with him if he were to come. He mentioned obviously Mike McDaniel, but Clay Kubiak, the guy who called that double reverse pass to give them the lead against the Eagles, Clay
Yeah.
Kubiak. Mike Shanahan has talked this guy up a
Mm.
lot. You know, one of the best guys he's been around coaching wise. This guy was just an English teacher. He said coaching in Houston not too long ago. Now is doing his thing in the NFL. So Robert Salah has shot up my list from like top probably 5 to like top 2 possibly. And
Yeah.
to me, here's my thing. The Ravens coach will be whoever wins between the Niners and the Seahawks. Seahawks win, Kubiak. Niners win, Salah. That's what I'm gonna go with.
That's good. I like that. I like that. I didn't see it
I've
that
been
way.
I've had too much time to think about this. I'm going crazy. Like put me in a straight jacket. I've had way too much time.
Yeah. You're like the meme from The Hangover, the guy with the whiteboard, and he's like, "Yeah, I've been,
That
you
that's
know, like."
I'm putting it all. I'm watching too much about these coaches. I'm learning their backgrounds, where they came from. It's too much.
Yeah, I mean, but I like that though. I mean, Clay Kubiak definitely interests me. We talked about him on the last pod, Alex. Nate Shieldhas,
Hmm.
he's another guy who interests me as well. You know, offensive genius working underneath Sean McVay currently. I would not mind having that guy in here, but at the end of the day, I think that as of right now, January 15th, 2026, Sudden Death prefers. I'm just gonna speak for myself. A defensive minded, hard nosed, preferably head coach with an offensive genius at OC. I think that that's where this team needs to go. You know, so if that holds true, I'm hoping, or if what you said holds true, I'm pulling for the 49ers this week, right? Because I want Salah. But thank you so much, Modius, for the super chat donation. We got another one coming from you right here. It says Minter equals the Ravens admit they should have kept Mike McDonald.
I
Oh,
love
speak
this.
on it, Alex.
I love this. I love this, Asmodeus, because this is 100% true. Because they're going back to a defensive coordinator who had a great year, came up short. I think the Chargers defense did enough for them to win that game. They did. They turned the ball over. They were holding them. 16 points allowed in the playoffs. That should be enough. And I think they would admit they should have kept Mike Mack there. And I see the Chargers fans, saying that Minter is their Mike Mack. So great point, Asmodeus. I can't argue with that. I think that's spot on.
Yeah, it's true. It's totally true. I mean, same like you said, same coaching tree and kind of history and everything. It's like this is why it's important to move on a year early as opposed to a year late. You know,
Yeah.
it's so important, especially in a league like this. Is if you don't want to get behind, you don't want to have a buffer year, kind of like the Ravens had this year. We missed the freaking playoffs, right? You missed the playoffs. I mean, it's just unacceptable. If we would have gotten rid of Harbaugh a year or two prior, I mean, sky's the limit right now. I don't know where this team would be. I can guarantee you we wouldn't be in Cancun and searching for a new head coach. I know that for a fact. Um, but yeah, but yeah, Minter wouldn't mind, but I think Salah for my money is probably my favorite though.
Mm.
I think Salah, you
Yeah,
know,
him and
especially
Kubiak.
with what you said.
That's my 1 and 2 right there. Him and Kubiak, and I can't wait to talk about these games because that's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most. Not too long ago, Brock Purdy just got shut down by them same Seahawks, and let's see what we have. So, Mike Mack did not win NCAA, Minter did. All I'm saying. Mm, mm.
Yeah, but they both had that defense buzzing though. They both had that defense buzzing. So I respect it. I respect it. Appreciate your super chat donation as Modi is making it rain here tonight on this episode 370 of PRP. We got another one coming from Chike, who's also been making it rain here on this episode 370 of PRP. Thank you so much. Chike says Bobby also said the same thing about the winner of the Seahawks 49ers will determine the Ravens' future for the next decades and a half. Go Seahawks. So I guess you're a Clint guy. Yeah.
Clint guy. So at the same time, I see why. Um, let's say Salah comes here, brings Clay or Mike McDaniel. Mike McDaniel has 1 year as an OC, and you know he's going to be head coach the year after. Clay to me has maybe 2 or 3 years, but your offense is changing just like that. A revolving door. Bringing Clint Kubiak, you got to worry about the defense now. So it's like, what do you trust more with a revolving door of coaches? That's kind of where I'm at now. And to me, maybe I'm a nostalgia merchant. I want my defense to be, top 10 again. I want to pair a top 10 defense with Lamar again and see how far we can get. Because last time, AFC Championship, and maybe that goes different with a different coach now. So that's where I'm at. Um, I'm probably leaning Salah. I think. I think I'm leaning that
Yeah.
way.
I don't
Tomorrow could be
blame you,
different.
man. He was looking like the guy after that 49ers game. I'll tell you that much. He was looking like the guy. He was looking like the leader that we need. And like I said, man, I think that if I was ranking the qualities, leadership is more important to me than anything, right? Because we've seen what happens when you have dominant coordinators on offense or defense. Those guys can carry. I mean, hell, they carried Harbaugh for years, right? When we had the right guys, at least. But you need a leader. You need a guy who the locker room is going to respond to. And I think the locker room would definitely respond to Robert Saleh. They would. They would respond to Brian Flores. I'm not sure how they would respond to Jesse Minter. I'm not sure how they would respond to Clint Kubiak. We would have to wait and see. The thing that appeals, so much about those guys is that they're so young and that they have so much upside, right? You don't know if you're getting the next best thing, like quite literally the next best thing. So it's one of those ideals. I think, let me see, Zeke in the chat here says, Sutton, could you talk more about the house guy? I don't know too much about him. I think he's talking about Nathan Shieldhouse,
Yep.
or Shieldhassy. He works as the pass game coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams right now, so he's not the offensive coordinator for them, but he does work underneath him, and he doesn't call plays, but he draws up the plays. He's the mastermind behind the offense, and that's what makes him so appealing, right? Because he's a young guy, and he's the one actually drawing up these plays to get Puka Nacua open, to get Devontae Adams 10 plus touchdowns this season. He's that guy. So, that's the offensive genius right there. If you brought him in as head coach and really gave him kind of like almost like a premature promotion there, because normally guys don't go straight from quarterback coach or pass game coordinator to head coach. Normally got to be an offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Then you get to step up, normally at least. But there's upside with that guy as well. A lot of upside with him, but I think that's more of a long shot.
Yeah, he interviews tomorrow with us, and Robert Salah's interviewing on Sunday with us.
Which is weird, right? I mean, because Robert Saleh, they play on Saturday, no?
Yep.
Yeah, they play on Saturday. Okay. That's not as bad. I thought they played on Sunday for a second. I was going to say, he's going to, right after the game, win, lose, or draw, he's going to, interview for the Ravens. That'd be kind of crazy. I mean, still, even 24 hours after is a little bit wild, but
if you
I
lose,
guess life goes
those
on, right?
emotions, it's
Yeah. But, all right. Anything else from the Steve Bisciotti? From the Steve Bisciotti that you took away?
I feel like everything's already been online. We're a couple of days removed from it. I know we're in a good spot ownership wise. I know we don't have an owner that would sabotage us like I've seen others have. I trust him. I think they'll make the right decision.
Yeah. I do too. It's interesting that we didn't talk about this. But Steve Bisciotti said when it comes to the hiring process, Lamar Jackson is totally welcome to be a part of that. Like, hey, if you want to come up from Florida to Baltimore for these day-long meetings, and there's going to be a lot of them, so you're going to be up here for about a week because there's going to be 5 final candidates that we bring to the castle and we interview for a full day, probably walk the grounds, walk and talk, eat lunch, all that good stuff. Go over X and O's, future plans, all that good stuff. Lamar, if you want to come and join, come join. You can even hop on my private jet. is what Steve Bisciotti told Lamar Jackson, which I thought was kind of cool right there. And again, another mob boss, mafia boss sort of move. Just kind of dropping your balls on the table real quick for the one time. I got a PJ. I do. I thought that was kind of cool. What did you make of Steve Bisciotti extending that offer to Lamar?
I mean, I think he's bought in on Lamar, which I know we knew that, but hearing it from his words is nice. I think him going to the public and backing his quarterback, uh, considering what the media has said about him and how they kind of question whether he is a good teammate, this and that. Like that's the owner of the team, just lifting him up and gushing about him and gushing over him, and even it just I think shut that all down. But they'll still find a way to make a narrative and a headline and run with it. But like I said, it's just a breath of fresh air. I watched it twice. I watched it live, came home, ate dinner, and watched it again just to kind of just take it all in when there's no distractions around me. That's how much I was
Yeah.
just enjoyed it. Like it's like I said, just a breath of freaking fresh air.
Yeah, man. It was cinema, low key. I mean, I did a whole 2 hour stream before I knew it. Like we were at 2 hours, and I was just like live reacting to it. It was crazy, and I appreciated every single second of it from Steve Bisciotti. Even Eric DeCosta. Eric DeCosta still tried to give some of the isms right and try to hide some stuff and cover some stuff up, but I'm so glad Steve Bisciotti was right there to shut him down. You know what I mean? Eric DeCosta really said out of his mouth. He said, a lot of people, you know, took the offensive line as a narrative this season as why we weren't good. And I was like, no, 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 it wasn't a narrative. It was right there on tape, right? Unfortunately for you guys, the NFL, who y'all work under, they sell us all 22 tape now, so we can see the same things you're seeing. And while we may not know as much football, we know when an offensive lineman is getting his ass whooped consistently, right? And our two guards were getting their ass whooped consistently. So don't even try to play with us, EDC. And I'm glad Steve Bisciotti pushed back on him. But we do have another super chat donation from Asmodeus. Appreciate you with the 5-piece in the chat. Asmodeus says case for Salah, Fred Warner, and Nick Bosa IR. Shanahan McVay offensive tree. Defense projection 28, actually 20. And defenses for San Fran, New York Jets are almost always strong. Yeah, it is a case for Salah. Very good case.
Yeah,
Very good
in New
case.
York, in 22, his defense was ranked number 4. In 23, his defense was ranked number 3. Obviously, had a lot of talent on that defense, but we quote unquote had talent on ours, and you saw where ours was. So
Yeah. And
that's why I'm. I
honestly,
mean, yeah,
well, no, I was gonna say EDC said he wants to get more talent on this team in the form of a quote unquote big ticket player. I know you remember that part. He said he wants to go ahead and potentially make a splash this offseason. He's going to need Lamar Jackson to work with him on the extension, and then maybe in free agency, or maybe we trade for somebody big and package some of those draft picks. What did you think about that? And what position do you think that could be? The big ticket player.
edge. It was screaming edge to me. I saw
Yeah.
somebody pull up a clip from when Marlon had his podcast and Bisciotti was on it. And Bisciotti, I think that's when we had the pick 14. He's bringing up edge rush, how he loves a dominant edge rusher. And I just see Max Crosby in my head. I see it. I'm envisioning it. I'm manifesting it. After this stream, I might go and get candles in a circle and manifest this. I might get freaking tarot cards and crystals. I might manifest Max Crosby to Baltimore as much as I can. That's what I saw. That's what I'm thinking, and I think Bisciotti knows. Ever since Suggs has gone on, like we lack that killer. I hope I can say that at edge that we can really go out there and any play on any given play can get to the quarterback. I think Max
Yeah.
Crosby is that guy.
Yeah, I definitely do too. I mean, and he definitely fits the criteria for a big ticket player. So if Eric DeCosta could put his money where his mouth is, which even in this presser he was still kind of reluctant to say he was going to do that, but if he does, then hey, go get a guy like that. Or I mean, I've heard some people even say a Trey Hendrickson as well, because obviously I don't think he's going to be with Cincinnati. I mean, they signed him to a 1 year before this season, and you saw how this season turned out. He's going to be gone, shipped out of there. So I don't know who it's going to be, but it does. I agree with you. I think it does need to be an edge rusher. Absolutely. We need another dog on defense for sure. Some people might disagree with that, but that's how I'm feeling. So, Alex, let's go ahead and move on. We're already almost an hour into the
Yes,
show, and we
yes.
got our picks. We got to do picks for the NFL divisional round weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of games, might I add. Like
Yes.
it's going to be last week. If we thought last week was fire, this week is going to be off the charts. It's going to knock your socks off. I'm telling you. If you don't know, then now you know. Mad Roster with the 2-piece donation. Thank you so much for making it rain, Mad Roster. Mad Roster says, so he didn't hire Zach Orr. Harbs is on that BS. Yeah, but
Nope.
he wanted to run it back here with Zach Orr, though.
Yep. But he wants Anthony Weaver in New York.
Yeah. Come on now. Come on.
Make
Make
it
it
make
make
sense.
sense. Make it make sense. Thank you so much, Mad Roster. Um, all right, Alex, you ready to get into picks?
I'm ready. I'm feeling 4 for 4 this week. I really am.
All right. All right, let's do it. Purple Rain pick segment. Here we go.
Yes, we are here to NFL divisional round. Same round where the Ravens have fell flat, fell short so many times. We are not in the NFL playoffs this year, but you know, a coach will be back there next year and next round and next round eventually champions. But let's talk about this year. This year, Saturday, January 17th, 4:30 p.m. The number 1 seed Broncos going against the number 6 seeded Buffalo Bills. I'll go first. People were talking about the Jags defense, Trevor Lawrence. I didn't trust them. It's Broncos defense. I trust. I think they get it done. Broncos to beat the Bills and make the AFC Championship. That home field advantage will mean something, unlike in Florida. No disrespect to the Florida fans. I don't think they're coming the way that the Denver fans will be coming. And Sean Payton, I'm trusting him more than Liam Cohen. Give me the Broncos.
I'm gonna go with the Bills in this one. I gotta disagree with you, Alex. I think that the Bills just have too much playoff experience to this specific point, and I think that Deion Dawkins is gonna keep Nick Bonito in check for most of the game. He's gonna keep Josh Allen relatively clean. Josh Allen's probably going to be able to run in this game as well. I don't know what his over under is for rushing, but I would take the over right now. I'd assume it's probably somewhere in the mid 30s, but. Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills in this one. I mean, what I saw last week from Josh Allen, man, it was tough to watch because the Ravens aren't in the playoffs, right? But you see him like making these runs and then pushing into the end zone and then getting banged up on like every single drive and then making the big throw at the very end of the game. It's like he deserves all the praise he's getting right now. I can't even lie. Can't even lie about it. And for that reason, I think that he continues it for a second week and he knocks off the Broncos, who might be a little bit rusty coming off of that bye week. You know, young teams like that who come off of those bye weeks and they get those first season, you know, they're kind of smelling themselves. Kind of reminds me of us in 2019. They tend to get knocked off, right? So I'm going to go with the Bills in this one.
Yeah, I think he's the reason they stay in the game. Much respect to him. I think he had a great game, kept him in it. I just think this defense with their corners, just everything around, I don't think the receivers will be open the way they were last week, but it'll be a good game. Moving on now to that 49ers and Seahawks game. Saturday at 8 o'clock in Seattle. Sam Darnold popped up on the iWord report. Questionable to play. He's going to play. There's definitely no doubt about it. I know I said the winner of this will probably be the Ravens head coach. I think the Seahawks win this. I think the Seahawks win this.
I knew it.
I just have seen Brock Purdy against Mike McDonald. I'm going to call it how it is. Mike McDonald has his number. He does. I think it continues. I think the Seahawks win.
Yeah, you talk about going into this game with no George Kittle as well for the 49ers. I mean, it's going to be a heavy Christian McCaffrey game. And if you don't think that Nick Emanwari is going to be all around that line of scrimmage, ready to tackle and bring down Christian McCaffrey, catching out of the backfield, running between the tackles, you got another thing coming. I think that this is going to be a pretty ugly game. Give me the Seahawks. And I don't know if they're favored or not, but whatever they're favored by, I'll take them to cover the spread too.
I like it. Now moving on now. Sunday, January 18th at 3 o'clock, the Texans and the Patriots. I'll be honest, I was going to pick the Texans, but now it's looking like Nico Collins isn't going to play. I'm going to pick the Patriots.
Really?
Yes. Looks like he's going to miss it with that concussion. And to me, that was enough for me to switch my pick. In this game, you're going to need that big drive, and you need somebody you can go to. I trust him. I know Christian Kirk had a great game, but I just think having Nico makes you that much better. So give me the Patriots in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots in this one as well. I mean, they have one of the best head coaches, one of the best leaders left in this playoffs in Mike Vrabel. And seemingly, it doesn't really seem like the Patriots are the type of team to like, stomp on everybody and blow every team out of the water or anything like that. But they just do whatever the heck they need to do to get the job done. If it's Ramondre Stevenson having a good, or Travion Henderson having a really good game, if it's Drake May hitting a deep ball to Stephon Diggs late in the game, or Hunter Henry, for crying out loud, who knows? Like, they just make it happen, right? And that's what happens when you have a good leader. I think that they have probably just as good, a defense that's playing just as well as the Houston Texans right now. With that being said, I'm going to go with the Patriots to beat the Texans.
And moving on, our final game, the Rams and the Bears. Storybook season for me comes to an end for the Bears. Give me the Rams and Matt Stafford in this.
This is going to be a tough one for me, man. LA traveling to Chicago, the red hot Chicago Bears, Caleb Williams, Iceman. It's going to be ice cold there in Chicago in the Windy City. They're going to be loud. They're going to be ferocious. But I'm going to take the Rams, though. I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to take them to win. I think there's going to be a late game interception by Caleb, in a really big spot. And that's going to be the storybook ending to his season. But we'll all leave this season knowing that Caleb Williams is the real deal. It's just not his time yet. I'll take the Rams.
And there you have it. So me and Sutton agree on 3 out of the 4. We are just different on the Bills and Broncos. I have the Broncos. He has the Bills. So I think one of us is going 4 for 4. It just depends who wins that first game of the weekend. And DWAS here says, are you going to miss Johnny's faces, Alex? And, I'm not. I think it was cute and fun at a time when we were winning and he would do them, but now I was over it last year. I was over the year before. We became a soft team, and I was tired of seeing that dick face. So it can go to New York. I think it'll be plastered on the New York Post this year, and they can enjoy it. So best of luck. Get your money, and get wined and dine, apparently, because that's still living in my head, by the way. I'm going to have a nightmare of that tonight.
It was Thanks. A crazy article from the New York Post, man. And if you're just getting in here, you're watching this live, please rewind so you can catch that part of the show, because I broke it down how the Giants broke down John Harbaugh. And again, it's all jokes, guys. The things that I said afterwards and in between I just thought it was hilarious, and I had to share that with you guys. But thank you so much again for the super chat donation, DWAS. Appreciate that. All right, so we finished up our picks. What's up?
I think we have one more segment left, and we were so close last week. We were a DK Metcalf drop away. He had 2 catches, 42 yards in the first quarter. We were on track to cash. It was a plus 600 parlay, not 500, plus 600. The reads were there.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go back. I think this one cashes. Not even trying to blow smoke up the ass. Those were such good reads last week.
They were really. Because what do we have? We had Colston Loveland, I want to say, right?
So we had that was our lotto for touchdowns. It was Muth, which wouldn't hit either way. Colston Loveland, and then Kincaid. Kincaid hit. Yeah. Loveland was a great read, and Muth the Steelers were awful. So I can hold that one on my chest. But for our big lay, it was Josh Allen over 25 rushing yards, Caleb Williams over passing, Ted McMillan over receiving, and DK Metcalf over receiving. And Metcalf sold us off of one catch that went through his hands, and they forgot how to throw it to him the rest of the game.
Betting on the Steelers. But that's the Aaron Rodgers thing, man. I mean, you drop one of his passes, he's like, all right, F you for the rest of the game. We'll talk after the game, and you're not getting the ball until later on, until I decide. I don't care if you're open. But, yeah, I mean, we came close last week, even with some of our longest odds of the season. I mean, we had to get lofty for the playoffs, and it came very close. So, Alex, let's try to get back on track here. Divisional round weekend. Here is our Purple Rain Parlay segment. Here we go.
Maybe 25 or... Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Wait, hold on, Alex. You weren't on the show. Say it again.
Right.
Go ahead.
I think, first and foremost, we have got to maybe look at the Josh Allen rushing. I know you mentioned it. So right now, his over-under is set at 36.5.
I knew it. Mid-30s. I think that, like I said, I think that the offensive line will keep the Broncos defensive line in check for the most part. But there will be times where Josh Allen is flushed out of the pocket. He turns it upfield. Of course, he's going to get a couple of tush pushes, hopefully in one that's not carrying him for 10 yards to the end zone. That's still pissing me off to this day.
Yeah,
But I like the over on the 36.5.
yeah, I like it too. Do we want to do maybe one leg from each game? Give us a 4-legger.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Cool. The Niners and the Seahawks, over under set at 44.5. The spread is -7 going towards Seattle.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot for a divisional
Yeah.
game. I thought maybe 3.5, 4.5, but 7, just straight 7 is it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Receiving props. Let me see what we got here. JSN at a 93.5. Christian McCaffrey at a 49.5. Jawan Jennings 40. AJ Barner 30. Cooper Kupp 29. Kyle Juszczyk 13. Rashid Shaheed low key at 23.5. I see it. I think this is one catch for him, but that's just a little too risky for my liking.
I love from that list that you just read off. I love Jawan Jennings from that list. 40.5 receiving yards with no George Kittle. Somebody's got to get those targets, right? And I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, top 3 in target share on the 49ers would probably be Kittle, McCaffrey, and Jawan Jennings, no?
Correct. You take Kittle out, he bumps up to 2, I think.
Exactly. So I like the over on Jawan Jennings receiving yards. What do you think?
I'm all for it, definitely. Now the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. Look at these rushing props here.
Okay.
The rushing over under for Ramondre Stevenson and Trayvon Henderson is both 37.5. Oh, that Texans defense is very good.
Yeah.
Woody Marks, 54.5.
54.5. The Patriots run D is not that good.
No.
You said 54.5 for Woody Marks?
Yep.
But then again, like I said, I think that the Patriots, they're the type of team who just kind of get shit done. I don't think that they're going to come out as slow as they did last week against the Chargers. I think it might be almost a little bit of a shootout. What are the receiving props again?
Let me see here. Diggs 48.5. Dalton Schultz 44.5. Christian Kirk 39.5. Hunter Henry 38.5. Jaden Higgins 38.5. Xavier Hutchinson 25.5.
I don't know about these. I don't really like these, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I like Higgins a lot. Kirk just went for 144, but that feels like it's a trap right there to me.
What about touchdown passes?
Oh, okay. Drake May and Stroud over 1.5 for May is plus 114. Over 1.5 for Stroud is plus 154.
I could see over 1.5 for Drake May.
So could
passing touchdowns.
I think our running back gets one out the backfield. That's my bold prediction. I think it's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
And our final game, Rams and Bears. Rams 3.5 point favorites. Over under 48.5. Our lay right now is at plus 660. So this will be our biggest one of the season. That's not quote unquote lotto. So let me see here. Pass and props.
Hey. Yeah.
The touchdowns for Stafford is it's set at 2.5. Never mind. I'm getting away from that. I'm getting away from that.
Passing yards though, Caleb Williams.
That is at. Only has the first. Where's it? Oh, here we go. Caleb's at 220. Stafford 267.
Give me the over on Caleb Williams passing yards, man.
There you go.
I mean, you think about it. I mean, I'd assume the Rams are favored in this game. I think that the Rams are going to win. I think that the Bears are going to be playing from behind. I think that Caleb Williams is going to extend the play a couple of times and make a couple more of those big throws. You got to know he loves that media attention he was getting for some of the throws he was making last week against Green Bay. He's going to come out slinging it. Give me the over 220.
Boom. So this right here, man, is juicy. Over 36.5 Josh Allen rushing yards. Over 40.5 Jawan Jennings receiving yards. Over 1.5 Drake May passing touchdowns. Over 220 Caleb Williams passing yards. That takes us to a plus 1,333. I see a 333. I see a cash. I see a bang. Gamble responsibly.
Yes. And that means we don't even have to do our lotto because I mean we got the regular one and the lotto all in one. We got plus 1,000. So I love it. Again, like my guy Alex says, please, 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 as always, gamble responsibly.
And there it is, episode 370 of the Purple Rain podcast. Great conversations tonight.
Oh wait, we had another super chat donation.
Oh, we did? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hold on, let me not miss this. Let me bring this up. It was from my guy Chike. Chike dropping the 10 piece in the chat. Appreciate you, Chike. Chike's been making it rain all episode long. We really do appreciate you, man. You're the GOAT. Chike says, so the AFC Championship, Sutton has Buffalo at New England and Simply has New England at Denver. NFC Championship, Sutton and Simply have Rams at Seahawks. That will be your championship weekend coming up. Yeah, sounds about right.
I mean, either one is.
Go ahead.
Buffalo, New England, divisional. New England,
Love that.
Denver, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, mid 2010s. I mean, great storylines behind both of them. Yeah, you really can't. I just don't see the Texans winning without Nico, so I would love to give them the benefit of the doubt. But if they do win, and if the Bills win, Stroud, Allen, and then if the Broncos win and the Texans win, two good defenses going at each other.
Yeah. And then on the NFC side of things, we have the Rams at Seahawks, which would be absolute cinema. I mean, Mike McDonald, that's low-key David versus Goliath right there. I mean, Mike McDonald in his second year as head coach, he's got Sam Darnold at quarterback with an oblique, right? You know what I mean? Not a crazy amount of, JSN, one of the best receivers in the league. Let's not get that twisted. But you're going up against a juggernaut in the Rams who have been there, who have done that. They've got Matthew Stafford, who has been there, done that. Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, man. If he could pull that off, oh my goodness.
I think that game would that's the debate. The best defense is twice the offense, and that's against the defense wins championships. So that's kind of the dream matchup. I really want to see this. I want that to happen. Give me Rams and Seahawks just for the storyline too. Oh my gosh, Cooper Kupp against his old team. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that would be dope. I didn't even see it like that. Of course, Cooper Kupp is nowhere near what he used to be, but I could see him turning the clocks back for a game. I could see it, you know. But thank you so much again, Chike, for your super chat donation. Thank you for all your donations. Everybody who has donated on this episode of the show does not go unnoticed. We appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for making it rain here on the Purple Rain podcast. But like my guy Alex said, that is going to do it for us on this here episode 370 of PRP. Please, before you get out of here, please make sure you like the video. Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed the content you just consumed. Please hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're watching or listening, rather, on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, salute to you. Appreciate you guys. Make sure you like, rate, subscribe on those platforms too. We appreciate that. With that being said, we love you guys. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through episode 370 of the Purple Rain podcast. A lot of laughs, a lot of good moments. This is a great episode all around. Thank you. And as always, stay positive and test negative.
Yes. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. This has been episode 370 of PRP. We're going to catch you guys in the next one. Peace.